Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the 35th episode of the 3 a.m. Knitter podcast. Welcome. My name is Anne, and I am coming to you today from the North Shore of Nova Scotia, Canada. And I would like to welcome you to the episode. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for checking me out and coming by. Why don't you grab your knitting or your crocheting and sit a while, have a little visit. And if you would like to, please like and subscribe to the podcast. That would be very, very wonderful. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. How are you? Nice to see you again. I hope you're keeping cool. We have been having some crazy hot weather, which not quite certain I like it, but there it is. It's not snow, so oh well. All right, let's jump right into housekeeping and get that out of the way before we get rolling with some knitting. So you can find me on Instagram as the 3 a.m. Knitter, on Facebook as well, same thing, 3 a.m. Knitter. I have a Ravelry group called I know it's going to be shocking, the 3 a.m. Knitter, and that is my handle on Ravelry as well. So you can find me there and follow me. If you would like, website, the3amknitter.weebly.com, where you can find information about upcoming workshops, etc. Email and snail mail address is down below in the description box if you need those. And there's also a link down there to sign up for my somewhat monthly newsletter. I do try to get a small newsletter out at the beginning of each month to give you updates on when the next episodes of podcasts will be coming out, if there are workshops coming up, things like that. So if you'd like to sign up for that, you can do that down below. And I do promise not to inundate your inbox with a whole bunch of stuff and things. So not to worry about that. Okay, I think that's it for housekeeping. Let's get right on to announcements. So on the 15th, excuse me, of June, which was last Saturday, pardon me just one moment. Sorry about that. I released the second pattern in the 2024 East Coast Sock Club. So that went out on Saturday to people who have purchased the sock club for the year. And that pattern is called the Maple Harbor Socks. The Maple Harbor Socks. I did give you a little sneak peek of this last episode, but here they are again for those of you who missed it. So this is, as I like to do, a cuff down, heel flap, and gusset constructed sock. This time around we have color work. So this is fair isle color work or stranded color work. The motif, the maple leaf, is on the front and on the back. You can choose, of course, to do it just on the front or just on the back if you like. And you could even choose to not do it on the leg, but incorporate it onto the top of the foot if that's your preference. The motif is charted, so you do need to be somewhat familiar with reading a chart. And I will caution you, if you've never done color work in a sock before, just to be very, very careful about your tension at the top when you're doing your color work, because you want to make sure you can get it over your instep. Sometimes what happens is we tighten up as we're doing color work, and that causes a problem when we're trying to get the sock on. So there is a link in the pattern to a Interweave, a website that gives you lots of tips and tricks about color work. You can try some of them. Other options, if you don't want to do color work, you could do this by intarsia if you know how to do intarsia, or you could even do duplicate stitch after the fact if you'd want to. I don't offer instructions for that in the pattern, but it is an idea if you don't want to attempt the color work. So anyhow, this is the Maple Harbor Socks. I hope that you enjoy them. If you are part of the 2024 East Coast Sock Club, you would have already gotten the pattern or received the pattern via email. If you're not a member of the 2024 Sock Club yet, you can still join. So there are 2 of the 4 patterns already released. The 3rd pattern is coming out in the middle of September, and that's called the Lighthouse Lace Socks. And then the final pattern comes out on the middle of December, and that's the Frosty Wharf socks. So what will happen is if you follow the link down in the description box to purchase the club now, you will automatically receive the first 2 patterns. So that would be the the Maple Harbor socks, and darn it, I can't, it's gone right out of my mind. Anyway, you'll get the first 2 patterns. Isn't that awful? That's what happens when you try to do recording after a full day. So I apologize. Anyhow, the link to the club will be down below if you would like to join. So if you have any questions about the club or about the pattern, let me know. I am always here to answer your text message or your instant messages or anything like that, or your emails. Okay, you also, if you follow me on Instagram, may have seen that I was doing a needle destash because my needle, I had a whole bunch of needles that I just wasn't using. So that needle destash is now down to the final set of DPNs. So I still have the Kollage 5.5 millimeter or US 9 square DPNs. So if anybody is interested in picking these up, I've got them here for sale for 10 bucks. Just send me a DM and let me know, and I will pop them into the mail for you. Okay, that's it for announcements. So let's get into the knitting. I'm just reaching over here to grab bag number 1. I wish you guys could see my floor. Oh my gosh. I'm going to take a picture of this mess and put on Instagram just so you can see my process. It's crazy today. Anyway, I digress. Let us jump right into the knitting. So you will know from the last episode or so that I am knitting up the Tin Can Knits Low Tide Cardigan. And I am knitting this out of my LYS, Natural Ewe Yarns, out of their Gots to Have It Merino. So Gots is, of course, Global Organic Textile Standard. So this is a skein of their Gots to Have It Merino in the Clementine colorway, 400 meters or 115 grams. And just trying to, yeah, that's a good representation right there. Beautiful yarn. Andrea, who is the dyer at Natural Ewe, does such a gorgeous job. I'll show it to you. Oh, see, I almost hit my water bottle there. There it is, caked up. So this gives you an idea. I don't know if you can see the subtle color changes. It's not intentional. It's just because it's a natural dye. So it doesn't give you stripes or anything like that. But, oh, the color is just gorgeous. So truth be told, I haven't gotten a lot of progress done from the last time you saw this. I am working on the body, and I've got, I don't know, three inches or so stockinette, right? So let me find, this is the back. So you can maybe kind of pick up here. See those very, very slight kind of color variations, which is just going to make this body absolutely gorgeous. Of course, that's the yoke. So this this Tin Can Knits pattern kind of, ouch, sorry, I just hit my elbow right on the top of my water bottle. Kind of ingenious construction, as you know, many Tin Can Knits patterns are. It's hard to show you here, but so there'll be buttons. Whoops, there'll be buttons on the top of the yoke and then the body. So I haven't gotten a whole lot of progress done on this. It's I took it to Knit Night last week because, just working on stockinette. It's and the increases are, there's yarn overs at the beginning and the end, and then there's decreases in the center. So it's easy to follow. And then on the wrong side or the purl back side, it's just that purl back. So Easy project to take with me because I didn't have to count a whole lot, which was great. But I didn't get as much work on it as I really intended because, of course, you know, all of the things came across my Facebook and Instagram feed and I had to cast on. So there it is. I tell the truth. So the next thing, and the reason why I didn't get a whole lot of work done on that low tide cardigan is because I was scrolling through Facebook one morning having my coffee, as one does, and you know how you get those kind of ads, targeted ads in your feed? I think it was a targeted ad in my feed. I don't think it was in a group, but anyway, I came across this just a picture of this pattern called the Festival Cardigan. And the Festival Cardigan is by Susie Ray, UK designer, based on the fact that the pattern is in British pounds. So this is a paid for pattern, $5.43 Canadian. And you may have seen this. It's a really oversized kind of boho, bulky weight, super bulky weight yarn. Not a whole lot of sizing. It's meant to be, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit cropped there. That's not how mine's going to be. Mine's going to be longer. But I went and I looked in my stash and I thought, I've got to have something in here that I can use because this is meant to be something I'm going to wear out on the deck or by the fire or that kind of thing. And oh boy, did I have some yarn. So I would say, I'm going to say 15 years ago, I was at a garage sale and I came across this great big bin of yarn and I bought it, and it's been sitting in my stash ever since. I've moved it province to province. My intention for this yarn was to knit blankets. And of course I never did, obviously. So anyway, I cast on for this, this sweater. The pattern calls for 10 millimeter and 15 millimeter needles. So for my US friends, 10 millimeter is US 15. I don't know what 15 is. And I did a quick swatch and thought, nope, I'm doing it all in 10 millimeter and I'll make it work. So it meant that I had to, instead of doing so many rows in each block, I had to do a few more rows in order to get the length that I wanted. However, I have finished the back of this sweater. So here it is here. So it is 5 rows so far of 4 colors, so 20 squares. And all I did is kind of randomly, I'm just going to fold this in half so you can't see, randomly select the colors. So I didn't have any 2 colors the same in each row and no 2 colors the same, kind of butting up against one another. And there we go. And then I just used, I had this, wait till you see this. I found in the back of my cabinet this massive, what the heck was I thinking? Red Heart Comfort in chocolate brown. So I'm using this as the ribbing, and get this, there's only 4 rows of ribbing. So how much of this am I actually going to use? But whatever. So yeah, I've had this yarn in my stash, like I say, for 15 years. So there's this gigantic bag. And here you can see all of this yarn, right? So let me just pull out a couple of the skeins of it, just so you can grab this one too. So this is Lion Brand Homespun. And as you can see how it's kind of crinkly. It almost looks like rickrack. It's pretty soft. It is 98% acrylic and 2% polyester. So each one of these skeins has 169 meters or 185 yards. And again, like I say, I'm just randomly choosing colors to put against colors. And I think it's going to work. And it's just a house sweater anyway. So this is the back. It's done by Intarsia. So, you know, I do have some ends to weave in, but that's okay. It's gigantic. And I just cast on I just did the ribbing for one of the fronts just before I came up here to record. So that is what I'm kind of working on. I'm kind of obsessed with it, which is kind of weird because, you know, I put aside the low tide cardigan because I got a little bit bored with the stockinette, and that's all stockinette. And anyway, so I think that I'll have that finished really quickly. The 2 front panels, I only have to do 2 squares for each side, and then start the decreases, and then the sleeves are, I think, 4 squares wide. So I'm just mixing and matching, using up this yarn that has been sitting in my stash forever and ever. So I'm pleased about that. And I'm also pleased because I'm going to have a kind of unique sweater, right? It's loosely based on the pattern, but I've made enough modifications to make it my own. So that's work in progress number 3. Then we move on to number 2, excuse me. Now we move on to number 3, the Autumn Leaves Linier top. Now I've talked about this before. I've showed you the pattern. This is by Sean, I think it's Sean Price White. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And you may recall that that's what so it's 2 rectangular pieces seamed at the top, beautiful lace detail at the bottom. And I, although I said I wasn't going to, I did cast it on, but I've just cast it on. And I have done the setup row. So I've got all my stitch markers in here for my repeats, and I'm ready to roll on that. And I am, you may recall, knitting this out of the Fleurage Soft Sock, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon in the daffodil colorway. Isn't that just so happy? Oh, I love it. 400 meters, 346 yards, 100 grams. So I have 2 skeins of that. So I was chatting with one of the ladies today in my circle membership. She just finished this shawl. I don't recall the yarn that she used, but what she did say, and what I might kind of follow suit, is when she did her neckline, she did a wee bit of ribbing. She picked up and did a wee bit of ribbing. Then she picked up and did a little row of, like within, just below the ribbing, of crochet, single crochet, to make it a little bit sturdy. And then she did the same along the seam at the shoulders to give it some firmness, so it lays nice. But she's very pleased with it, so I am looking so forward to getting to work on that. But of course, I've literally done 1 row. So yeah, so I'm looking very much forward to that. I circled the change to 4mm needles because I have to remember to change my needles. But here's a picture of the makeup of it. So you can see it is just the two rectangles. It couldn't be more easy. And it is, like I say, a free pattern. I just want to take a look at the yardage. Let me just quickly, I did it again. I'm going to knock that water over. Fingering weight, 700 meters. So you could do it in 2 skeins is plenty. The other thing to consider is you could do the lace in one color and do the rest of the body of it in a different color. If you had some leftovers from something else, might be nice as well. So that is whip number, I've lost count now, right? 3. Okay, let me get this out of the way. All right, I absolutely promised myself that I was not going to, oh, there it is, sorry. Not going to cast on anything else until I got those things done. But then, so last episode I talked about the top 5, actually I think it was 6 summer top patterns that I love, and that I was really looking forward to getting yarn for one of them, which I'll talk about in a minute, and that the other ones were on my list, and I was quite certain I had stash for some of them. So there we go. And then one of my lovely friends and viewers and member of the circle gifted me one of the patterns. So this is the Sari Nordland Roman Holiday pattern. I'm just going to bring it up here on Ravelry so you can see it a little bit better and I can tell you more about it. I was just blown away. It was such a generous gift. So this is just such a pretty summer top. So you might remember it from last time around. So look at that detail there. So a little bit low. It's got the detail on the front. And I'm not quite sure if you can see it here. And then you might be able to see it there. See, it's got the garter stitch on the side body. And oh, I just love this. So of course, when Colleen, my lovely friend Colleen, gifted me this pattern, the first thing I did was run to the shelf to see what I had. And of course I swatched. Now, this swatch is a little bit wet still, but what I have come up with is I have here in my stash a whole bunch of this Cascade 220 Superwash. And this is in the Doe Skin Heather colorway. No. Yeah, no. It's hard to, I might be able to show you on the swatch. Anyway, so I have this, and I have a skein and a half left of Frankie Gray fibers in the Black Cherry colorway, which is just, there we go. Just delicious. Oh, so pretty. I used this for my Circe sweater. So I thought, I wonder if I can get gauge, because I don't have quite enough. I think I'm 1 ball short on this, and I don't have enough of this to make the Black Cherry the main color. So I thought, what if I stripe it? So of course, the first thing I do, so I swatched it up. So this, I think, oops, let's do it this. Sorry, obviously I haven't, it's still wet. So look at the stitch definition. I got gauge, I got stitch gauge, and I'm pretty close to row gauge. Close enough that I can make it work. But I think that is going to work. I just haven't decided about the width of stripes rather, or how the width of the stripes, or where I'm going, like if I'm going to just place them in a certain place on the top, or if I'm going to stripe the whole thing. I don't know yet. But I was a little bit concerned about, the difference in the wool. Technically, when you look on Ravelry, the Cascade 220 Superwash is coming up as a worsted, and then my Frankie Gray is DK, which most times are interchangeable. But when I swatch this up, I am, with the naked eye, I literally cannot tell the difference in the stitch size. And I measured my gauge on both both yarns. So, and it's exactly the same. But I think that's going to be great. What do you think? And the drape is nice. I think it's going to be great. Will it be a little bit warm? Maybe. But I'm still going to do it because I really don't want to buy yarn when I've got all of this great yarn sitting here. So that is going to be my Roman holiday. Thank you, Colleen, so much for the pattern. I'm absolutely jazzed to get that going. Just going to read you a little bit about the design. So as I said, Sari Nordland, DK 3.25 and 3.75 millimeter needles, or 3 and 5 for my US friends. Comes in 6 sizes, extra small to 2XL. What would Audrey wear? When in doubt, this is the question I usually ask myself. The model has been made out of silk. Simple, versatile, works at every occasion. Roman holiday top is super easy and quick to knit, but with just enough detail to make people notice what you're wearing. So it does not look to be a difficult knit. It is not a new pattern. It came out in 2018. There are 169 projects on Ravelry, which obviously I haven't looked very much at, because maybe if I would look at them, there might be one that is striped. I'm just doing a very quick zoom here to see if one comes across my feed that I can show you right away. Oh, there's one. This one is done in 3 colors. And I think it looks, I think it works, right? So again, I haven't decided how I will make the colors, but I think striping is going to be my friend, and I can use up some more stash. So that's great news. Okay, I think that's it for WIPs. Whew, that's a lot. Finished objects. I have one. So you will perhaps remember from last episode that I was, for my membership group, the Circle, knitting up a crocheted granny square bag for our into summer knit along, or our spring knit along, and I have finished it. There's a bunch of books in it, so it's a little heavy. So I'm gonna stand up and see if, yeah. So all this is granny squares. So I made the strap long enough that I can do a cross body, so I can walk myself down to the library. There's an awful lot of books in here right now, but anyway, you get the idea. So I made 18 granny squares, and I just mixed and matched the colors, all done with acrylics. I showed you the basket last episode with all the different colors of acrylics that I had in it. So I just mixed and matched. No two are this, or there is 3 of each color, but no two. Use your words, Anne. I didn't put anything the same side by side. Thank you. And then what I did for the side and the bottom, so I just did 1 long piece of single crochet, 3 rows of each color, and I eyeballed it. I crocheted it until I thought it would fit, and there we go. And then I crocheted a strap, again single crochet, using 6 or 7 of the colors, outlined it in black. Again, single crochet, 1 row of each for the strap, and just simply sewed it to the outside of the side of the bag. So it's just a very simple, use up your acrylic yarn bag. I love it. I may still line it. I haven't decided yet. Depends on if it's just going to be for books. If it's just going to be for books, I'm probably not going to line it, but I'm pleased with it. it's a fun bag to have. It'll be great to take to the beach and stuff like that with stuff in it. So that is my only finished object, is my granny square bag. So I'm happy about it though, because I enjoy crochet a lot. And I love the bright colors because I don't often do, when I'm making garments and things like that, whether it's knitting, crochet, whatever the case may be, I don't use super bright colors like that or jewel tone colors. I'm more of a, you know, greens and browns, kind of nature colors, right, in my garment making. So, sorry about the bouncing in the chair, but yeah, it's hard to get comfortable in this darn chair. So what I forgot is, even though I really enjoyed working with the color and making the granny squares, I sure didn't enjoy sewing them together. I forgot about that part. I'm glad it's done. Let's just say that. All right. Okay, next cast-ons. Let's talk about some upcoming cast-ons. Oh, did I close it? Oh, for heaven's sake. Let me go back here. So I told you guys about this last round, in the 5 or 6 tops that I would love to knit this summer. So this is the one that is next on my list. I cannot start it yet because I don't have the yarn for it yet, but I did purchase yarn for this. So this is the Leela top. You may remember this one. It's got a nice little garter stitch ridge detail, little spaghetti strap at the top, I-cord I believe it is. I think what I'm going to do with that is make the I-cord a little bit longer and tie it in a bow. I haven't decided 100% on that yet, but this is a pattern by Caidree, C-A-I-D-R-E-E, Caidree, I think is how you say that. It's a fingering weight sleeveless summer top with a square neckline, and it's constructed from the top down, giving an advantage for adjusting the length of the body. Simple textured stitch throughout the pattern. It's worked flat and in the round. It's meant to be worn with 0 to 5 centimeters of positive ease. There's 10 sizes. So this gives you an idea of those spaghetti straps. Yeah, but like I say, I think I'm going to make them longer. So I went ahead and treated myself to some Lush Lino fingering by a beautiful Nova Scotia dyer, Cozy Posy Yarn Company. So this yarn is 65% silk, 35% linen, and I selected, she just did a pre-launch, so I got in on the pre-launch. I selected the bronzer colorway. There, that's close. It's not exact, but it's close. So I think that's going to make a really nice summer top. I'm excited to get this and get that cast on. So in the meantime, I have to work on the rest of those projects. But this little pattern rather, the Leela top, brand new, June 2024. There's already 69 projects on Ravelry. Just beautiful. I'm just taking a wee look at, yeah, so people have done so many beautiful colors. Go check it out on Ravelry because there is some gorgeous, gorgeous projects here. But this is a paid for pattern. I don't know if I mentioned that. $9.29 Canadian or $6.50 US. And it's knit on a size 3mm needle. Here is a version of it in a white or an ivory color. And I think that's just classic. That's beautiful. If you have the wherewithal to knit in black, I mean, this is the time of year to do it. If you can get out in the sunlight, wouldn't that make just a beautiful classic piece? that you could wear year round. You know, in the fall and in the winter, you could wear it under a jacket or a sweater. Summer, you could wear it just as it is. Oh, so I'm looking forward to getting that cast on. And then I was spending some time on Ravelry and just looking at some patterns and things like that. And then I came across another granny square project. I know I just said that I hate the putting together of the granny squares, but I have so much acrylic left. Like, no, really. Let me grab that basket. So I finished that, and I mean, look, this thing is full. It's full. Plus, I have a whole bunch more over there. So anyway, I came across this pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it is just called the Granny Square Cardigan by Kristen Salzer Frost. And I just thought, this is so fun. So, first of all, isn't she the cutest thing? It is just as it says. It's a granny square. Like, look at this. Isn't she adorable? So just an oversized sweater. It's got some pockets. It looks like it has a hood. Does it have a hood? It does. So anyway, I don't know. This is an older pattern, July 2022. There's only 3 projects, but actually only 1 shows up. But I thought, you know what? I could easily make that out of some of that acrylic yarn. And it would just be another sweater that I could have hanging by the back door to go out onto the deck or to sit on the porch on a cool morning, you know, that kind of thing. So am I going to start that? I don't know, but it intrigues me. I think I'm on a granny square kick right now, right? I'm not quite sure what the heck's going on with that, but you know, there it is. Okay, what else do I want to tell you about? Bear with me while I just turn the page of my notes here. Things that I love. Okay. Took a little walk down to my local library here. Here in Pictou, we are in the process of getting a brand new library. So we have a center down on the waterfront called the Destash Center, and what that is kind of the cultural hub, if you will. So there's a theater there, and they do a lot of concerts and plays and other things like that. And then they're also moving the library into there. So yeah, it's going to be great because it's right on the waterfront. But in the meantime, we have this old library that I'm hoping expands when they move it. But anyway, so I've been humming and hawing over the last, I don't even know how many months, maybe even years, about purchasing. I love stitch dictionaries. I love them. Now, I know that you can find all of this stuff on the interwebs. I know that. But I like a good stitch dictionary in a book that you can keep on your shelf, right? So I've been humming and hawing about this one, the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible. Haven't bought it yet, but there it was in the library. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to borrow it from the library, and I'm going to spend some time with a nice cup of tea, and I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to see how many times I go, oh, that's gorgeous. And if it's more than 6, I'm going to buy the book. It's already been 15. So once I return this book to the library, it's likely that I will buy it for myself. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to take a look at a Japanese stitch Bible or stitch dictionary. If you haven't, please do. They are not the same as a North American stitch dictionary. They are pretty amazing. Now, don't worry that it's a Japanese stitch dictionary and that you might not be able to figure out what you're looking at. Everything is charted. So you do have to know how to read charts, or you could use this as an opportunity to teach yourself how to read charts. And then all of the symbols are explained in the book in English, so you don't need to worry about it. They've got instruction in the back. They've got a couple of patterns in here. They've got edging. What else? They have yokes. They talk about how to change the rhythm of a piece with your stitches, which I find fascinating. And they just have gorgeous, gorgeous stitches. Like, oh, overall patterning, crossing stitches, there's cables, there's lace, you name it, it's in here. So I encourage you to check out the Japanese Stitch Dictionary. So this one here is by a company called Tuttle, and it looks like the creator or the author is Hitomi Shida, translated with an introduction by Gail Rome. So I'm glad that I borrowed it from the library first, because it's not a cheap, buying books like this is not, $10 or $15. It's an investment, right? And so I always want to make sure that I'm happy with the money that I'm spending, because it is an investment, isn't it? And these days for me, part of the reason that I would prefer to have a real book as opposed to going onto the internet and finding all of this information, which of course you can, is that if you're anything like me at all, I am trying to curb the amount of time that I spend on social media or on the internet. I work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and I'm in front of a computer for 8 hours a day. Now, am I surfing the internet? No, I am not. I am, in the middle of spreadsheets. I'm in the middle of programs. I'm not gonna, but I'm still in front of a screen all the time. So anytime I can get away from that screen, and I understand the irony that you're watching me on a screen right now, but anytime that I can sit quietly with a cup of, cinnamon cardamom and just flip through these and get inspiration, or if not inspiration, just appreciate the beauty of the designs, is time well spent as far as I'm concerned. And maybe you feel the same. So that is one of the things that I love this week. The second thing and the last thing that I am loving this week is, I don't know if you follow or have ever seen or watched the Fairy Godfather podcast. Matthew, he's one of my faves. And he has started putting out these episodes called Let's Knit Together. And I think he said they're on the 15th of every month on YouTube. And basically what this is a half an hour capsule of time where you come together with Matthew on his channel and you knit. That's it. There's no talking. We're not talking about projects or yarn or anything. You sit quietly and you knit. And he has beautiful classical music from a friend of his playing at the same time. Halfway through the session, there's a little bit of a stretch, and then you get back to your knitting for half an hour. So it's a really beautiful way just to set aside some time, just to sit and quietly knit with somebody, right? So if you haven't had an opportunity to check out Matthew's podcast, The Fairy Godfather Knits, go check him out, and then also look for Let's Knit Together. All of it on his channel. I'll link to it below just in case you want to check him out. All right, so let's get into the Knitter's Oracle for this episode. I've got the cards right here. We'll give them a shuffle as we always do. Ooh, it's getting toasty warm in here now. All right. Let's see what comes up for us today. So today we have the yarn bowl. All right. The yarn bowl. Oops, I think I went past it. If I knew my Roman numerals a little bit better. Okay, the yarn bowl. A yarn bowl is a wonderful tool for keeping your precious ball of merino safe from prying pets and dusty under the table rolling excursions. I smile because, yeah, I just looked under my table downstairs and, yep. Similarly, the yarn bowl card stands for protection, security, and guardedness. When the yarn bowl shows up, it's time to think of matters of safety and to be cautious in your next steps. You may want to have a wall up in your dealings with others who haven't yet earned your trust. Oh, that's interesting. The yarn bowl. Yeah, safety keeps your yarn safe. How many of you use a yarn bowl? I have one. It's, actually you can't see it. It's right beside Duckface Doris up there, beside these cones of yarn, tucked away beside Duckface Doris. I have used it in the past when I'm doing lace work. I don't use it often. What about you? Yarn bowl card stands for protection, security, and guardedness. I mean, I can see that when you're using a fine yarn. When the yarn bowl shows up, it's time to think of matters of safety and to be cautious in your next steps. This is interesting to me. Cautious in your next steps. You know what? It's interesting to me, but I can't articulate why. I don't know why. You may want to have a wall up, that's in quotes, in your dealings with others who haven't yet earned your trust. Okay, so, you know, maybe this is about people who are knit worthy and people who are not knit worthy. Are we keeping our yarn in that yarn bowl to keep it safe because we're not sure we want to give a knitted item to somebody because you know that they're not going to take care of it, or maybe that they're not going to appreciate the work that's gone into it? I don't know. What do you think about the yarn bowl? What does that mean for you? Interesting card this time. The yarn bowl. All right. Well, this has been great. I'm going to be back with you again on July the 7th, a couple of weeks. And I am hoping to have a couple more finished objects for you. If I could stop casting on and actually knit something, that would be grand. But I go through these phases from being a super monogamous knitter to just casting on all the things. So there it is. Anyway, that's it for now, my friends. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. I hope that you're keeping cool if you're in a part of the world that's really hot today. And I will chat with you in a couple of weeks. Take good care. Keep knitting. Bye for now.